Welcome to the ArtMaster channel. Today we'll be trying a first for the channel, digital drawing. Let's get to it. Okay, we're gonna start drawing, and for today I chose Kid Buu. For this piece, I'm using the software Paint Tool Sai, or Say. You could still use Photoshop or any other software of your choosing. Before I begin going into the details, let me just clarify, I'm no expert when it comes to digital drawing. This, at this point, was my second drawing overall. I even made a test drawing beforehand just to make sure that it was going to look okay, and I'll show you that drawing at the end of the video. Okay, the main difference is that when we're working on a digital form, we gotta work through layers. And this is the first layer, which is the sketch layer, and I have the opacity quite low so that I can see then later when I begin with the line art. Also, there's no problems as there's like a tiny mistake over here because we're going to use the layer of the line art later on, so we can just delete this, and we're going to see more about that right in this second. One of the better advantages of digital drawing is the thickness of the lines, depending on how hard you press on the pencil. And to be honest, it took me a while to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's pretty simple and it helps out a lot. And once you go back to on-paper drawing, you realize that you cannot erase any mistakes, so you can delete at your heart's content over here and it's gonna look fine. Another weird feeling that I got is that I felt that I was drawing a bit faster. Maybe it was just an illusion, but it just felt faster in my hand. Another great advantage of digital drawing is that we're gonna have all the color palettes in the world at our fingertips, and also we can just zoom into particular areas that we want to have more control over. This won't affect the final quality of the drawing. It's going to be amazing. One thing that I did notice though is that if you want to make lines, and if you're making lines and you're doing them slowly, they might look a little bit squiggly. So if you want to have more defined lines, you're gonna have to do like a faster stroke, and you gotta get used to that. So that's why in the time lapse you can see that I kind of redo the lines over and over again, because at first I was kind of doing it slow. I had to erase it and then make it faster until it was the line that I wanted. But don't worry, that didn't take a lot of time, because you have Control Z or Command Z, and that's just super fast. Also, I gotta point out the precise nature of this digital pencil. It blew my mind. Like, a couple of minutes went by and I kind of forgot that I was not using a real pencil. And I gotta say, not having to sharpen your pencil every few minutes, it's a godsend. And I gotta bring it back and just make sure that you guys understand, I was so happy to notice the difference in the thickness of the lines depending on the pressure that you apply on the pencil. I think that was an amazing feat. Okay, let's move to the coloring part. And I gotta say, this was the part that I had the most trouble with, getting to know the whole system with the layerings and everything. But I assume that's just, practice and getting to know the tools that you have at your disposal. Okay, so this is what I learned, but please take it with a grain of salt because I am no expert at all. So what I figured is that you have to go to the line work layer or the line art layer, and you have to select with like the magic tip the part of the drawing that you want to color, and that will generate a new layer and you get to work on that. So for instance, we create a new layer called skin layer, and then you can just select the color and it will basically color everything inside on that palette, but you can actually paint with different colors inside that layer. So if you want to do like different shades, you can do that, and that's what we're seeing over here. Oh, and this layering process makes it impossible to actually draw or paint outside of the line because it respects the boundaries of that aforementioned layer, and that's amazing. And right now I'm using different shades of color for the different, skin tones of Kid Buu. And if you were thinking that there was nothing else that you can do when it comes to shading over here, well, you're wrong. There's a bunch of tools and effects that you can use, and one of my favorites, it's called Blur. So check it out. Basically, it's a tool that allows you to, well, blur the colors and just give that 3D effect that looks amazing. And it's very fun and easy to do. And as always, if you press more on the pencil, it just adds more of the effect, more of the blur, so that you can, pinpoint the places where you want to have it more, want to have it less, according to the light source that you have in your mind. Okay, so this is looking pretty good, I had to say. And look, I'm not a professional when it comes to digital paintings or digital drawings, but it's very intuitive, and it actually, you end up with a more refined and perfected drawing in the end. And what I mean by this is that you can always go back, you can erase, redo over and over again until you have the most perfect version of your piece, and it's not going to damage the paper or anything, so of course it's going to look amazing in the end. Look, if you are looking to buy a tablet, go ahead, do it. It's not a dumb investment, and if you want to get a job in the art world, well, you should get digital, because everything is basically digital nowadays. And yes, the downside is they are pricey, and depending on the model, it's gonna be even pricier. But you know what? It's one-time investment, and you're not gonna have to be purchasing all the Copic or Copic markers. You're not gonna have to be spending that amount of money when it comes to different sort of materials and upgrading them. And if you're actually looking to, get a few gigs drawing, this investment alone, it's a good excuse. So go on ahead. I gotta say, of course, there is like a tiny lost essence of the typical on-paper drawing, but I gotta say, the digital world got me very, very impressed. And at the end of the day, it has to do more with your preference. If you enjoy digital art more, then kudos to you. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do more digital drawings, and if you have any character in mind that you want me to try out. Also, by the way, yes, I am recording the tablet with a camera, but if you want me to use the recording software of the screen itself, I'll be happy to do that as well. Just leave it in the comments below, and don't forget to like as well. Well everyone, that's the video for today. I really hope that you liked it. Please leave a like, a comment down below. It really does help me out a lot. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye!